Shit, Tupac's greatest hits. Speaking of changes, I wanna change this game like I'm losing in Madden, 30-6. Like that, y'all. Some people they fiend for things they've already seen. I think they wanted me to be like that, y'all. But it wasn't my scene. I started doing these things that made.
What is up, Lex City, and welcome back to Spokane. Today I have a very special episode for you. I'm coming to you at 7:30 on a Friday night. My kids and my wife have left me, not for ever, but for the evening. They went on a little mini getaway to Silver Mountain Lodge, where they're going to the water park and stuff. And I'm here podcasting in my studio because it's Friday night and I have nothing better to do but to put out a podcast. But why I'm here is because I want to talk about the Sydney Sweeney reel that I posted last Sunday. Now, for those who don't know, who are listening, I posted a clip of Sydney Sweeney on Saturday Night Live where she was hosting the show. And I posted the clip because I was watching it on Saturday night when I had gotten home after going to the Chameleon, the new venue here in Spokane. Go listen to my episode with Josh Lorenzen where I talk all about that with him. But I got to see Travis Thompson, Jang Nagoon, Karma Rivera, YP, and it was a great night. Also, amazing food by Austin Conklin there. He's an amazing chef, and the Asian-inspired dishes that he had were so good. And the banh, haven't had many banh mi's in my life. I had a bite from my buddy Mike, and I now need to eat all the banh mi's. So thank you, Austin, for introducing me to that. But so I got home, and I was like, I missed a lot of things. I missed the Gonzaga game against St. Mary's, had to watch that. And then I realized, oh yeah, local Spokane native, Sydney Sweeney, was on SNL. That's a big deal. She's an up-and-coming actress. I wouldn't maybe even say she's up-and-coming anymore. I think we would now describe her as Hollywood's it girl. And so she got to host the episode. And I started watching it. She did her open monologue. And one of the first things she did was shout out being from Spokane, Washington. So I wanted to take this time to talk about why I posted this short little reel on my Instagram, the thought process behind, and then kind of the aftermath, because it's now become what industry professionals, experts call viral. They say anything that gets over 100,000 views is considered viral. Right now on Instagram, the video sits at 270,000 views and just under 8,000 likes, has 5,000 shares and 200 comments. I would describe this as being the first video reel post that I've ever had go what people would consider viral. I've had some other things get like 10,000, 20,000 views, and that's cool, but this is nonstop, and it's been nonstop since about Tuesday. I've had nothing but constant stream of likes, comments, follows. I've gained about 500 followers from it. And the comments are hilarious. I'm going to get to that in a bit. The comments they're just, some are good, some are awful, some are funny. And I want to read some of the highlights there. But yeah, I just kind of want to chat about what has been going on. But the first thing I want to do is I want to play the clip. I'm going to play the first 30 seconds of Sydney Sweeney on SNL. And then I'll kind of go through my thought process of why I created this. So here we go.
I'm from a town called Spokane, right on the border of Washington and Idaho. I feel a bond to both states. Like when people ask, where are you from? I say Washington. But when people ask, did you go to a Trump-themed party for your mom? I say, Idaho. It was always my dream to be an actor. When I was younger, my parents drove me from Spokane to Los Angeles just to audition. That's a 19-hour drive.
So that was about a 2-minute clip. It has its hits and misses. It's not the perfect monologue in it, but it has it's funny and whatnot. But what caught me at 12 o'clock on a Saturday night last week was she brought up Spokane, and I, knowing that Sydney was already from Spokane, was this, oh, that's really cool that they would bring up that she's from here. Obviously, it was playing into the Idaho joke a little bit. And honestly, I don't really understand the Idaho part of that joke. I mean, I understand it. Like, I think when she's trying to like deflect the whole Trump stuff that happened a couple of summers ago, she's like, I don't know, but she says Idaho, and I don't know. That doesn't really land. It didn't land for a lot of people, I read, but and she probably knows that as well. But I didn't even add the other part about how her parents used to drive her from Spokane to LA to audition. That's awesome that they were doing that for her. I wonder how true that is. I can't imagine that they drove her many times. Like, flying is very easy from Spokane to LA. I imagine there might have even been a direct flight back when she was doing that. But my reason for posting it was I had not seen a lot of publicity in Spokane about Sydney Sweeney being on the show on SNL. And I woke up on Sunday morning and I went on Instagram, I went on Facebook, and I would just kind of thought like someone's going to pick up that she mentioned Spokane in her monologue. Someone locally will have done that. No one did. No one picked it up. No one posted about it. No one had a story about it. No one was sharing it. And I was like, do people not know that Sydney Sweeney is from Spokane, like, that are here? And I know that's not true. A lot of people wouldn't know her as a being from here. But I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get the clip, and then I'm going to post it on my Instagram, because I'm a Spokane account. Spokecast is all about what's happening in our city. And I don't really post a lot of topical things that are going on in Spokane as much. Like, I try to promote the things that I want to support or that should be supported. But this was just like undeniable. I knew that this was going to get some likes and some comments and some views. I didn't think it was going to be what it is today, but I knew something would happen. Actually, I was going to go see Dune 2 in the theaters with my buddy Riley that morning, and I did this in about 15 minutes. Got the clip, wrote some copy for it really quick, posted it, started getting likes on it, views, whatever you want to call them. And I got to the thing, I was like, man, I got 50 likes on this in the first 30 minutes. That doesn't happen very often. I was like, this might go off. And so I see Dune 2. Gotta say, amazing movie. I did not get a chance to see Dune Part 1 in theaters, and now I really regret it, because Dune Part 2 was freaking amazing. But I got out of the theater, and all of a sudden I'm like looking at my phone. It has 5,000 views and like 200 likes. I'm like, awesome. This is what I expected from this post. Like, I expected to get some local traction, people commenting on it, whatnot. And it kind of just went on like that for a day. Like, it was just getting likes here and there. At one point, I think it had 500. It had about 20,000 views. And then like Tuesday, it just like, went off like wildfire, and it hasn't stopped. I post a lot of things on Instagram, reels, like stuff on my podcast. And every time I post, I'm like, hey, this probably won't go viral, but like, it would be cool if it did. Post a lot of videos of my son playing basketball. I posted a dunk back in January of, I went to a Mount Spokane basketball game, and I had the perfect angle of a player dunking on another player, and that has 80,000 views on it. And that was what I was like, oh, this is the best post I've ever had. Well, it's not even close to what the Sydney Sweeney post is now. I don't have like any great insight of why this post has gone the way it has. Like, obviously Sydney Sweeney's very beautiful. A lot of the people that are liking the post are probably hetero males. Like, there's a lot there that helps kind of hack the algorithm. But with this, I've just gotten a lot of comments on it about people not liking Spokane, people kind of degrading Sydney Sweeney, people being positive about it. And I really wanted to just share some of the highlights, because what a better way to do that than do that on a podcast. And you know what the great thing about when you do something on a public forum is, if you're trying to be anonymous about it, you're not, because it's right here. and you commented on it on a page where I have a podcast. And if you thought you could just post on my reel and it would just go away, you're wrong. Like, you're going to be on this podcast now. You can delete the comment for all I care, but it's here now. You're immortalized by this comment because now this podcast is going to live forever. And I'll do my best to make sure all these people know that they were talked about on a podcast. I think we should start with the good comments first, but they're not very juicy. They're just like, the David J. Scott says, hell yeah, Spokane born and raised. Thanks, David. This one wasn't awful. I mean, this wasn't positive or negative. It's just like, shout out Spokane. Don't move here. A lot of people say that. Abigail Lee says, Spokane W with exclamation points. I'm guessing she means Spokane win. Yeah, like that's like a great normal post. In the clip, she says, I'm from a town called Spokane. And a lot of people have taken offense to that. Like, people do not like that Spokane has been called a town. Caden Roar writes, Spokane a town? Ha ha ha. Very funny. Right below it, I don't know how to really pronounce this. It's Obaden? Town with like a indifferent emoji. So a handful of people like, you know, kind of complain that she called Spokane a town. Whatever. Spokane's a town, city, community. I mean, no one should really take offense to her calling Spokane a town. Like, she lives in LA. Like, to her, Spokane is very much a town. Even though it's a city. I mean, is there really a difference between a city and a town? I guess there's probably like some definition, like by population, but that's really making a mountain out of a molehill. Vex Slay says, oh, wow, I didn't know she was from here. I mean, that's why I posted this. Like, I guess a lot of people didn't know Sydney Sweeney was from Spokane, and I got a couple of those. Jurgens Bobby says, I was born in Wenatchee. Shrug. Congrats, Bobby. Does anyone know her here? I don't. I think there are some people that are living in Spokane currently who know Sydney Sweeney. I don't know who they are, but I'm sure there's a handful of people who have met Sydney Sweeney or have, you know, went to school with her. I believe I heard a story the other day that someone I used to work with, she used to read to Sydney Sweeney when she went to St. George's School. This is one of the earliest comments. I got stuck in Spokane in 2008 when I was on tour with a metalcore band. We sat in the hotel and drank PBR for 4 days because the snow prevented a part from being shipped to our mechanic. I never returned. That's from Gavin Tyler Fry. You got stuck in probably what is known as the worst snowstorm in Spokane history in 2008. We were all stuck in Spokane in 2008 for 4 days because no one could go anywhere because we literally got like a two feet of snow in the course of like a half a day. I'm sorry that you had a bad experience being stuck in snow, but we literally experienced a weather anomaly. Smooth Talking City Loser says she's a 10, but she's from Spokane, so that makes her a 1. And she's a 1 because she says Washington, not Washington State. So that makes her an 11. I really like your math there, Smooth Talking Loser. And then another mix of a lot of comments I got are a lot of people calling Spokane, you guessed it, Spocompton. I have probably at least 20 comments on here of people calling it Spocompton. And some of them are in a positive light, like they just like call it Spocompton because that's just like what they call it. And then some people are like really like being negative about, you know, calling it Spocompton and like that it's dangerous here. And I don't really want to go through all those people that did that, but Spocompton has been used as an alliteration for Spokane for years. I probably used to call that back when I was like in junior high and high school. And that's because I never been to Compton and I lived in Spokane and it was just like a funny thing to say. But now as an adult, I don't like using that term just because I think people are trying to use it as a way to describe Spokane negatively. And it's just the same way as I don't like it when people call West Central felony flats. Like you're using a term to describe some place negatively because you think of that place as being negative. And I just think it's not very original or smart. It just kind of makes you sound stupid. And I really think if you're someone trying to represent our city, calling Spokane Spokompton is just, I don't know, it's just kind of stupid. What else? Has to be a couple more in here. Got to go into the hidden comments for these because I did hide a bunch of comments, and because like a lot of them are just rude. Rigger69 says she's got nice melons. Thanks for pointing that out. Otto Batal says Spokane, the meth capital of Washington State. I would have to argue we are no longer the meth capital of Washington State. I don't believe any city has that designation anymore, because I feel like the whole meth trade left Spokane back in the mid-aughts. I mean, I'm sure there's still meth going on in Spokane, but it's not nearly as prevalent as it was back in the mid-aughts. Caden Abbott 16 says, Spokane is mother of shit. I will disagree with that. 2001 Toyota Avalon. That's an interesting username. You must really love your 2001 Toyota Avalon. She got tits, but no talent, to be honest. Man, you have not watched Sydney Sweeney in anything then, if you think she has no talent. The comments that are about her making it in Hollywood because of her body is problematic at best. I mean, yes, she has probably gotten a little further in her career because of how she looks. She even talks about it in the monologues. Like, she mentions it. Like, she does sex scenes. She shows herself naked. But you also have to be able to act in order to get the roles that she's done. I mean, she was in Handmaid's Tale. She's in Euphoria. She's in White Lotus. In those roles, White Lotus and in Euphoria, she's been nominated twice for Emmys. Like, it's not like has no talent. There's plenty of women in Hollywood that have been acting for a long time who haven't got Emmy nominations because they're beautiful. I won't describe her as being the best actor in Hollywood, but she's doing an amazing job for the roles that she's getting, and she's making a lot of money doing it. So I guess she's having the last laugh. Those are just some of the comments. I'll probably be getting a ton more. If you want to go have yourself a laugh, go to my Instagram, go check it out for yourself. Honestly, if you want to, go make some comments on these posts. I'd love to get some people talking shit back to these naysayers about people who are talking shit about Spokane or people who are talking shit about Sydney Sweeney. I'm trying to comment where I can. I don't want to like overly comment and be annoying, but I also like realize I need to probably put some of these people in their place. But that's the internet. They're trying to be keyboard warriors. I'm just trying to post something that's interesting for my followers. And I thought this was super interesting that Sydney Sweeney, Spokane native, was on SNL and mentioned Spokane in her monologue. Obviously, SNL is not what it used to be, but it's still SNL. It's still live, and it's still really fucking cool that Sydney Sweeney was on there and talking about being from the region. I have to give her props for doing that. She did not have to do that. And I think it just goes into why I'm so proud about our city, is because I love this town. There's a lot of good things about it. There's a lot of bad things about it. But the more we shine light on the good things, the more that will echo throughout the world. Like, the more positivity you bring to things, the more good that comes from it. If you're only going to put negative energy in the world about Spokane, then that's the kind of energy that's going to draw back. Yes, there are a handful of bad things that are happening in Spokane, but that's every city across America, no matter what city you're living. Like, there are bad things happening in Coeur d'Alene. There are bad things happening in Seattle. There's bad things that are happening in LA, New York, St. Louis, Nashville, Austin. There's a lot of bad things happening everywhere. But when you're bring the positive vibes, especially being from here, I believe the more positivity will come from it. And it takes people like Sydney Sweeney and other people with big voices from here to lift up the city. And, I think if we can keep on making more positive energy and putting it out there about Spokane, the more that will come back and the more people will be like, I need to check Spokane out. Like, Spokane seems like a cool place. And I'm getting that energy. I'm getting that from a lot of people. In the last year and a half, I've known 4 people that have moved here from outside of Spokane. I've had friends that moved here from Denver. I've had a friend move here from England, had people move here back over here from Seattle. I've had people move up here from California, and they move here because they see what's going on here and they want to be a part of it. And that has a lot to do with the cost of living here, the affordability of housing, and those are all going up. And that has a lot to do with the people that are coming in. And the more we can be open to change, the better this city or town is going to become. So I don't know. This has been a really unique experience being able to see a post like this go off that I created. And I think it's going to keep on growing. From what I've read, if a post gets to like over 100,000 views, it kind of gets into the algorithm on Instagram, and it doesn't really ever stop for a while. Like, it will just kind of keep on going. Like, when you're on Instagram and you see a post from 4 weeks ago that has a couple million views and thousands of likes, like, those are because they went viral then and they're still getting shown to you. The more people interact with it, the more it will be shown. So I kind of think this will keep on going on. I'll keep you informed on that, on other things. Like, I'm not going to do another podcast about this unless it like gets to like a couple million views and something bigger comes from it. Like, yeah, if this blows up even more, would I love to have Sydney Sweeney come on Spokecast to talk about Spokane and being from here? 100%. If you know Sydney and you want to send her this, please do. I really have nothing but great things to say about her. I would love to have her on the podcast. I think that goes without saying. But really, what I think Sydney's doing in Hollywood is awesome. She's bringing a lot of positivity to what she does, and I commend her for that. And I think she's uber talented, and I think she is more than just a pretty face. I think Sydney Sweeney is going to be in Hollywood for a really long time. I think in 10 years, I think to Spokaneites, Sydney Sweeney's name will be synonymous with Spokane. Spokane, Sydney Sweeney, those words go great together. And I think we need more celebrities to embrace our city. And I would love to see, a Visit Spokane or a local organization get her to be a spokesperson for them. That would be great. Like, I hope Sydney Sweeney does that someday, because I think there are multiple brands and businesses within Spokane could use support from celebrity like Sydney Sweeney to like just skyrocket. And, if that business was mine, so be it. I got to say, if you're still listening to this, I really appreciate it. I want to do more podcasts like this. Like, I'm not going to have a lot more things go viral, I don't think. But, maybe I will. Who knows? Who knows what I will do with this? But I got to thank everyone for, just being here, listening. Like I said, I want to do more thought process style podcasts where it's just me talking and not me interviewing people. My buddy Sean Widmer, who does a Sean Widmer podcast, shout out to him, said, I want a 15-minute episode from Brennan every week on Spokecast. And I would love to do that. I just need to find that time. And I also need to find the topics to talk about. So if you got ideas of what I should be talking about, please reach out. I got a lot of new episodes of the regular Spokecast coming out in the next couple of weeks. Got some really cool news coming up at the end of the month. And just really looking forward to what this year is going to provide for Spokecast, because I do think things are getting bigger and better for my business and for myself. And I don't know, this is kind of like this Sydney Sweeney reel going off is just kind of like a cool start to that, a cool start to the year. Please, if you listen to this podcast, share with your friends. I always could use those reviews on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Share it on the social medias, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Let the people know about Spokecast. If you came to this podcast and listened to it from the Sydney Sweeney reel, thank you. If I gave you shit, I'm sorry, but you probably deserved it because you made a dumb comment. And if you came because you said something nice, thank you. Because like we need more nice comments. That was the most thing I was most surprised about from the Instagram comments is like, I post a lot on Instagram. It's usually from people I know or people in Spokane. It's always very positive, but this has made me realize like, oh man, people are kind of assholes on Instagram too. I thought that was just like a Facebook and TikTok thing. No, it's on Instagram as well. People are dicks all over the internet. So again, thank you all for listening. This has been a lot of fun. Until next time, this is Brennan, the Spokecast. Peace.
Tupac's greatest hits. Speaking of changes, I wanna change this game like I'm losing in Madden, 30-6. Like that, y'all. Some people they fiend for things they've already seen. I think they wanted me to be like that, y'all. But it wasn't my scene. I started doing these things that made them say they can't do it like that, y'all. Hell no, they can't do it like that, y'all. Hell no, they can't do it like that, y'all. Hell no, they can't do it like that. Hold up. Without a day, hey, somebody better tell Ellen that I'm on the way. Somebody tell Charlamagne, hey, I'm on the way. There ain't a stage in this world that I couldn't play. Coachella with a full live band would make sense. DJ sets